We've all heard that it's good to be a generous person. Charity, after all, is one of the 7 capital virtues recognized by the Catholic Church. However, it's also true that human behavior can largely be explained by evolution through natural selection. If you've ever heard the phrase survival of the fittest, you have a pretty good idea of the basic principle of natural selection, where individuals that have the best traits are able to survive and pass on their genes. This survival of the fittest idea doesn't exactly seem to favor generosity. For instance, giving all your food to hungry people would probably make you more likely to starve yourself. But we are still not completely selfish creatures. This brings us to the question, why are humans altruistic?
To understand this concept, let's consider the prisoner's dilemma. In this game, we'll play Santa Claus and Buddy the Elf as contenders standing before a grand prize of $1 million. If both players cooperate, choosing the split ball, they will each receive $500,000. If both defect or choose the steal ball, both must return home with nothing in their hands. If Santa Claus defects, choosing the steal ball, while Buddy cooperates, Santa will go home with $1 million, while Buddy returns with not a single penny. This works both ways. Due to the structure of the game, you can see why an individual would benefit most from defection, because it leads to the highest payoff. So, why do people ever choose to split the prize? In the early 1960s, political scientist Robert Axelrod launched an experiment to learn more about the phenomenon. He discovered that in a one-shot interaction, defection seems to be the go-to answer. But most encounters continue over a period of time, in which case mutual cooperation proves most successful. Indeed, no matter how many times Axelrod repeated the computer game of Prisoner's Dilemma, he found that the strategy of tit for tat, where each player mimics the other's move, guaranteed the most benefits. If we apply these rules to evolution, we can see how cooperation may benefit the community as a whole in passing down DNA. In the Old Stone Age, cooperation in hunting was important because the probability of failure ranged from 40 to 96%. At this rate, it was better to work together to decrease the likelihood of starving one day than to know that on another day your partner would also share or help hunt for food. As we just saw, providing benefits to other individuals leads to direct reciprocity, which increases the survival rates of both parties. But what exactly is direct reciprocity? Direct reciprocity refers to cooperation between the same two members. That is, you help me and I'll help you. The benefits that each partner reaps is pretty straightforward. But wait, yet another form of reciprocity exists.
Indirect reciprocity refers to an act of generosity in which the giver does not return the favor. Rather, the giver builds a reputation of altruism that makes other members of the community more likely to give back to him. But how does this phenomenon play a role in the evolution of generosity? Once others know that an individual has helped out in the community, they are likely to reciprocate. This creates a social status, one which may explain why people are more likely to act on generous whims when their acts are publicized. Thus, generosity and cooperation can be seen as an investment for one's future. Altruism is not always reciprocated, though. Parents continuously sacrifice lots of time and resources to raise children without expecting anything in return. This hardly makes them better off, but remember, survival of the fittest only works well if you can survive and pass on your genes to the next generation. This means that natural selection would certainly favor parents who are generous to their children, ensuring that the children reach maturity and be able to pass on those traits through genes.
So in the spirit of the holidays, the next time you have an opportunity to help out, lend a hand. After all, evolution shows that generosity pays off.